Hi guys, so hope you all are good, and I'm finally back with unboxing and review video. And today I've got this Victor Bravesword 50L racket, which I got for 2200 rupees from Amazon. And because I've mentioned Bravesword 55L, so let me tell you the difference. There is not really much difference in 50 and 55L racket. Only difference is the color, and if you're not really concerned about the color, you can go for any one you want. So now we'll open this and see what we have in this racket. So I've never played with a Yonex racket. I'm really sorry, Victor racket, but I've heard people saying that Victor is making really good racket in the budget section. So I just wanted to check it out, how the Victor racket works. You have seen played like Tai Su Ying, world #1 women's single player. She is also using the Victor racket. From India, Ashwini Ponappa is using the Victor racket. I don't know the name of that racket, but that's a very defensive racket. That's not for offensive play. But let's see what we have got. Let's keep it aside, and as you can see, the seller has packed it really well in this cardboard thing. You can see. So just a big thumbs up to the packaging. So this is our, you can say, the cover, the typical Victor cover of the racket. We'll keep it aside, and the bill and all. So here is your racket, and on the logo you can see, I know few of them. She's Tai Su Ying. This is Tuzu Wei, I think, from Chinese Taipei. Rasmus Gemke, and I don't know these two players. Danish national team, Malaysian national team official partner. Okay, so let's open the racket first. Packaging is really good, and you can see the beautiful racket which I'm holding in my hands. Just loved it. So first we have this Victor logo, and the pricing is not mentioned, but as you can see, Victor Bravesword 50L, and this is well stapled, you can see at the back. So now MRP is, you can see the MRP 2400. I'm not sure. Yeah, you can see now 2400 rupees MRP, and this is for you one piece. 2019 was the date, the year it was imported in 2019, before the COVID period. So this is the racket. Okay, so we have removed the upper covering, and as you can see, the Victor logo is here, and the racket looks really beautiful. It really feels rich in the hands to hold this racket. So when we talk about the material, this frame material is made up of graphite, and all this material, this is of carbon graphite, so you can expect sturdy look, and plus the, you can say, the longevity of this racket. It will last for you for a long period, I think, because of the material, because it feels really rich. And you can see this stiffness. I don't think so that if you can see or not. Yes, but this is a stiff racket. The shaft is very stiff. So if you don't know about the stiffness of the racket, and you don't know about the shaft and all, so let me tell you, there are two type of shaft. One is a stiff shaft, and other one is a flexible shaft. So in the flexible shaft, this thing, it does not move a lot, you can't bend it, and if you will try to, the racket may break. So the flexible shaft, those are for the beginner players who are just beginning the game and they just don't want to exert too much of power, and they can clear the second line easily with the flexible shaft racket. When we talk about the stiff shaft racket, you have to exert more power, you have to generate more power from your wrist, but the control will be too good, and the speed of the racket, the speed of the shuttle will be very good. So no compromise with the speed, plus the control of the shuttle will also be good. Like you are playing a drop shot, a net shot, it will be very precise. So if you are a intermediate player, a senior player, or a professional player, stiff shaft is what you should look for, not the flexible shaft. Flexible shaft will just degrade your game if you are playing at a very next level. So this was about the shaft. Now this is the intermediate racket, and professionals can also play with this, but only in the training sessions, not in the professional matches, because if you will, trust me, you won't help yourself. So this is the intermediate racket basically. And when we talk about the tension of the string, these strings may be gutted at around 22 lbs, and the gauge, the thickness of the string may be, I think, 0.69 millimeter. So it is close to a Nano G95 strings. It's not really thick, it's a bit thin. So uh, the string of this racket is good, I must say. And this racket can take a maximum tension of 31 lbs. But then talking about the type of this racket, this is actually a lightweight racket, a light head racket. This is not a heavy head racket, but as I've not told you, I'm really sorry that the weight of this racket is from 80 to 84 grams, and that comes in the category of 4U, and the grip size is G5. So this is a 4U racket basically. This is actually 3U and 4U are the basically the most dominant racket in the market. You will find rackets in 3U and 4U range. More than that, that is a very rarity. You won't find that, but they still exist. So the weight of this racket is a bit on a heavier side, but this is not a heavier racket. Heavier side, if you play with the racket which weigh from 75 grams to 80 grams, if you are one of those guys, then it may be heavier for you. But if you are playing from a 4U racket, it will be very similar to you, of course. So as I told you, this is a light head racket. So if you are just going to gut this racket, I will just suggest you, if you are going for very offensive game, you can go with BG66 Ultimax. That is the best string. Then Adidas F66 Uber Shawl, that is also a very good string. I have the review of that string on my YouTube channel, you can check it out. I'll give you a link in the description. So I must tell you, I have not tested the Yonex F66 strings, but trust me, Adidas F66 is a very good string. You can also go for that. And Li-Ning number 1, not to forget, very perfect string. If you are looking for offensive game, Li-Ning number 1 will just do the job for you. And if you are looking for a balanced game, nothing more you can expect from a BG80. BG80 is the best string which you can go for it for this racket. If you're looking for a very balanced play, like offensive also, defensive also, if you're looking for balanced thing, you go for BG80. And if your budget is is a bit less, you can go for Nano G95 or Nano G99 from Yonex. But if you are a very defensive player, you can go for, of course, BG65 or Li-Ning number 7, or there are many strings in the market, like all the strings from gauge of 0.70, all the strings 0.70 gauge, they are the defensive strings, so you can go for that. And the all-round strings, that will be ranging from 68 millimeter to 69 millimeter, and all the offensive string from 65 millimeter to 67 millimeter. So that's it. And talking about the tension of the strings, that just depends on your playing style. And if you're really concerned about what tension I should choose, you can just comment in the sections below, and you can tell me what type of player you are, and I will suggest you the best possible tension which you can go with this racket. So of course, the isometric frame of this racket. Isometric means the vertical and the horizontal strings are just very similar in size and shape, so you get a big sweet spot in the center. Remember, there are two type of rackets. One is the oval shaped racket, like I have a Onyx Carbonix. In the oval shaped racket you won't get a bigger sweet spot. There is a very little sweet spot, but if the shuttle hits on that sweet spot, trust me, your smash will be just a killer of one of those. But in the isometric you get a good, you know, sweet spot, so you don't miss the sweet spot. And as I've told you, all the things in the racket, it feels really rich to hold the racket in the hand. And the grip size, as I've told you, G5. And if you want your head to be a more you can say heavy, so you can just attach a very lighter grip to it, very light grip to it, so your head material will be a bit heavy. And if you want more control, if you just want you can say easy, just clear, so you can just you know just make it a bit heavy. The grip, you can make it a bit heavy, you can attach two grip, or you can just attach a very heavy grip to it, so it feels a bit in the control if you just hold this racket. So for control, just make this portion a bit heavy, and for good smashing, make this portion a bit heavy through a lighter grip. So that's all. Now I'll be coming up with another review when I'll play on the court, and then I'll tell you how the racket goes. Hi guys, so back with the review of this racket, and if I have to say just one word about this Victor Bravesword 50L racket, that is just fantastic. So for 2100 rupees, you can't ask for anything else in the world in when we talk about rackets. So first of all, if anyone will ask me like if it is better than all those budget segment rackets, yes, it is. It is better than Nano Ray 18i. It is way better than Carbonix 8000 plus, or Apax Z Ziggler, Apax Fina P232, or any other racket which you can think under 2000 rupees or even under 2500 rupees. It is a much better buy. Alright, the grip thing, G5 is the grip size, and with this long grip size, and if you put any other grip on it, this will not be very heavy, so it won't make this side very heavy, so you don't have any power on this side. It will make a balanced racket if you apply any badminton grip on it. So with this grip, I can say that the control of this racket is way too good. I played doubles game with this racket. Though I'm a singles player, but I played doubles game with it. And from the third line, I was hitting the drop shots, and it was so precise. Like I just loved it. For 2000 rupees, I can't expect anything else. I can say I can give a score of 10 out of 10 if we talk about the control of this racket. The control is way too good. Alright, so when we talk about the shaft, of course, this is a stiff shaft. So, stiff shaft does means that your racket won't bend like this is a shaft, and your thing will not be very bent when you hit a shot. So, that is called stiff shaft. That's not a very flexible shaft. So, stiff shafts basically means you have to sacrifice the power, but the speed will be very good, so you can capitalize if you're a singles player. So if you're just beginning on the indoor court, and if you're a singles player, this racket is just the perfect buy for you. If you want to, you know, switch over to some other brand except than of Li-Ning or Yonex, then this racket is the perfect match for you. So we talked about this thing. Now when we talk about the pre-strung strings, of course, if we all are actually all the professional players, we are using the unstrung racket, and then we got it to according to us actually what string we like and all. But if we take strung racket, we know how strung rackets are. The performance and the string are very bad. But let me tell you guys, the most impressive thing of this racket was the pre-strung strings. These strings, okay, so I can say that these are Victor VBS 70. uh, of course, Victor VBS 70, I have not reviewed it, but I have played with that strings. I can say that those strings are much better than Nano G95, Li-Ning number 7, or BG65. Nano G95 is only the string with a gauge of 0.69. Gauge means thickness, but all the strings like Li-Ning number 7 and BG65, they are actually uh, uh, they are having a thickness of 0.70 millimeter, and this string also have a thickness of 0.70 millimeter. So I can compare this string with BG65 titanium. This is matching the level of titanium or even more than that. So I was really impressed with the string. The string is actually it is put up at 24 lb I think, and the maximum string tension which you can put is 31 lbs. So now talking about the smash and all, of course, if you are watching this video, you may be a very occasional player or a player who may be playing outdoor, and if you are watching this video and if you think this racket is good for smashing and all, of course it is. If you are playing outdoors, of course it is, because on outdoor courts there are many factors, and also the technique of many players will not be very good, because I know that all the outdoor players, they are not posed. So if you hit any smash, that will be very fruitful. But if you talk about indoor play, and if you say if this racket will be good for smash and all, my answer will be no. This racket won't be very good for smashes and all. Reason being, this is not a heavy head racket, this is a balanced racket. So you can't expect smash and a stiff shaft. So you can of course power up your speed game, but you can easily clear the third line. The net play will be very good. You can master up the drop shots, but the power game will not be very good in the picture. So if you are going for the power game in indoor courts, I would not recommend you this. But if you are a defensive player or an all-round player who loves to play all round, and he is not really relying on his smashes, okay, so you can go for it. And if you are a doubles player, of course the aerodynamics, the maneuverability of the racket is very good. Like you can swing the racket very easily. It's not very you know very heavy. It does not feels very heavy, and plus the weight of this racket that comes in for you 82 grams. That is the standard weight category with where a professional player plays, 82 grams to 85 grams. So yes, everything is very good in this racket. The control of the racket is also very good. Like you can say that pinpoint precision shots, you can hit pinpoint precision shots with this racket, yes. But you can't expect great smashes. I mean, if you have a very good technique, you can also smash from Nano Ray 18i, okay. But if you don't have any technique, you are playing outdoors, or you are a very thorough beginner, you can't generate much power in your smashes. So for that thing, of course, you need a heavier racket or a racket with flexible shaft. Or also, if you want this racket, to be tailor made for smashes. What you can do is you can apply Li-Ning number 1 or BG66 or even Uberschall Adidas F66. These are the strings with a very thin gauge, very thin thickness, but you can't expect durability on those strings, and they also will retain the tension. Like if there are thick strings, thick means the material is thick and it will, elastate. It will uh, keep just losing the tension. So if you're going for BG65, Nano G95 or BG80, not BG80 actually, Nano G95 and Li-Ning number 7 and all, they will last according to your technique. Like if you're hitting the shuttle on the outdoor frame, of course you will break any of the string. But if you're hitting this corner very consistently, then there is a chance that your string will last for a long time, I think. But if you are going with a very offensive string like lean number 7 or F66 or something like that, then you really have to hit this spot whenever you are playing, because if you hit this spot and the tension is high, then the strings will break. And also guys, I have said in many videos that higher the string tension, it does not mean that you can hit a very good shot. It actually means that your sweet spot is getting less, and until and unless you will not hit the sweet spot, you won't generate any power. So for beginners and for intermediate players, I will again recommend you, if you're a beginner, don't go for very offensive